Hello and welcome, Lanita, the Scrappy Grandma here, and this is my Walking in the Way of the Messiah playlist. I did not record last week. Both Rusty and I had the stomach bug, and I was down. I was down hard for the week, pretty much sleeping all week, trying to recover and get better. And praise Yah, I am better finally. Um, I've got a lot going on, a lot coming up. My life is gotten very busy and I'm just pretty much strapping in to the roller coaster and trusting him on the ride. And it's a bit intimidating. So, like I said, all last week, the week before my grandkids had it, I had it last week. Rusty and I both had it last week, and it took me out. And I'm so thankful that he gave me a couple of days because I leave tomorrow and I'm going to meet up with my friend Michelle. And we are headed to Mexico, to Tijuana, to a holistic dentist to have some dental work done. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but it just didn't bubble up to the top of the list of priorities of things that needed to get done. But then a couple of weeks ago, I had a crown crack and break part of it break off, and that kind of made it bubble up to the top of the list of like, okay, I really need to get this done. Thankfully, I've just got my passport, which reminds me I need to I've got to make sure I get my card and get it in my wallet so that it goes with me tomorrow. Something else that I had put off because I hadn't expected to be doing any traveling, but when I made the arrangements to go to Israel this year, then the passport bubbled up to the top of the list. It's like, okay, got to get this taken care of. So got that taken care of and perfect in time to go down to Mexico. And why Mexico? Why holistic dentistry? So, um, for those of you that have followed along and know that I deal with, some major health issues with a genetic disorder, and there's several things around my teeth that are a challenge. And a couple of years ago, and yes, I have to admit it's been a couple of years now that I've gone to a dentist. I really need a cleaning. I've known it for a while, but I've had some dental trauma. Um, I I've had dental issues, dental trauma, and now I've realized, a lot of it is a result of the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the EDS, the genetic disorder that I was born with. Now it all makes sense and all the puzzle pieces fit in together. Um, where also we're of an Irish descent, so I've got a double whammy where we metabolize anesthesia and or Novocaine, things like that, differently. We metabolize it more quickly. So as a child, I would go to the dentist and I would, let them know that, oh, I can feel that. And they would basically tell me I was crazy and didn't know what I was talking about. There's no way I could feel it. They gave me plenty of medication, but yet I still felt it. And now we know. And it's actually, you can look it up. People of Irish descent or with the redheads, which I'm blonde, but my mom's a redhead, my aunt's a redhead, my brother's a redhead. You know, we got redheads. We're Irish descent from my mother's side. So I had major, challenges. I had root canals. Um, EDS is a connective tissue disorder, so everything in your body is connected with connective tissue. But so I've had root canals, which if you research and look up root canals and see the detriment, and these were done 50 years ago. I've had literally decaying, rotting teeth stuck to my in my mouth for 50 years. I had a botched root canal, then it had to be pulled, and I have a bridge that ended up having to have a root canal, and that's what I did a few years ago, along with this. I've had trouble with this back tooth for 20 years, and the idea of another root canal has just terrified me, and I didn't do it, and it was crowned, and then a couple years ago I went, and it was bothering me, and I believe it's bothering me from a bite issue, not from a tooth issue. because I clench at night and it's the farthest back tooth. And I just don't think my bite was ever correct. And the fact that it cracked and broke off, which is frustrating because I had a zirconian crown on there, which is supposed to be the strongest they make. And the dentist insisted on replacing the crown a couple years ago. I sat in her chair for 8 hours. It was horrible, traumatic. And she took that crown off and put this other crown on that within a couple years cracked and broke. A little frustrating. This is my world with dentists. I'm not a fan. So I looked into holistic dentistry. I've got a couple of mercury fillings still, and I'm in my 60s. And I'm trying to do everything I can to help, my health and mercury fillings. There's lots of studies about how damaging it is to your health. So, and they're actually supposed to be, the mercury fillings are supposed to be removed in a special way to not make people sick, which makes sense. It's mercury. So, holistic dentistry does that. But it's also horribly expensive. So I went a couple years, well, several years back now, to the only holistic dentist here in Fresno, had an exam of what I was all going to need to be done, taking out the mercury fillings, refilling it with ceramic, taking out the root canals, they building up the jawbone, building the jawbone back up. They wanted to do implants. I'm opting out of implants because my body reacts so bizarrely to things, and I don't want to run the risk of my body rejecting the implant material. So I'm going for old school partial dentures. My grandma had them. I know people who have them and have no trouble with them. And so that's what I'm opting for. So my first trip down to Mexico, we're going to a holistic dentist. So up here, it was going to be well over $20,000 for all the dental work I needed. And just a rough estimate until, of course, Wednesday when I go to my appointment, we'll find out for sure what the full estimate is. But a rough estimate down there, having everything done, and the 20,000 didn't even include the partial dentures. This includes the partial dentures, is 8,000. 8,000 over 20,000. That's why I'm going to Mexico. Plus, I really love Mexico. It's one of my favorite places. I lived there as a teenager, and I just have a real love for it. So I'm going down tomorrow, picking up my friend Michelle, or stopping at her place, and then she'll be driving us down to Tijuana. We'll cross the border. They take us to a hotel that's contracted with the dentist office, and we'll stay the night, get up the next morning, go to our dental appointments, have our dental work done. Mine's going to be a two-part. I'm going to have to go back down for a second visit, but I'll have the initial stuff, this crown taken care of. I'm still up on the fence. I have to discuss with the dentist either to have it recrowned once again or just have it pulled and get rid of it because literally the tooth has given me pain for 20 years when I bite on it. It's awful. So I may just have it pulled, depending on what the dentist says, will be the best fit for my partial dentures. So they'll take care of that and my mercury fillings. And then Thursday, that's Wednesday. Then Thursday, we'll drive back up to Michelle's, and she's a couple hours from the border. And then my son is in town. Well, my son is in the state. My southern son is going to be in Southern California, just about 45 minutes from my friend Michelle's house. So I'm going to then drive over and have dinner with my son and my oldest grandchild and spend the night with my son. And then Friday morning, leave to come back home. So it's going to be a busy, busy, busy week, but I'm excited. I'm just looking forward to what the Father is going to do. Um, I have fears and trepidations, but I'm at peace knowing that He has it all covered and He's going to take care of everything. And I can just rest in it and know that whatever happens is for my best because he works all things out for good. So I just have to release and let it go and trust him that it's going to be an adventure. So that's my beginning adventure. So that's what I'm doing this next week. Um, the past couple of weeks, like I said, has just been I've been taking care of the grandchildren and being sick. So I had a respiratory and got well, and then I had a stomach. And my one of my girlfriends, she gave me some just some clarity of like, okay, the father's exposed you to these things. Now your immune system's built up. Now you can start traveling. So that's what's going to be happening. So anyway, let me know if you've had any experience. I've ran into several people that go down to Mexico for their dental work um, because of the pricing. And from what I hear, they do fabulous work. I look forward to getting back to all of you afterwards and letting you know how the experience is. Um, I'm excited. I'm excited to finally get this work done and start working on taking care of my dental stuff that's really been needed to for the past few years that I just stopped going after the experience with being in the chair for 8 hours and her prying the old crown off that didn't need it. Just my bite needed to be adjusted, not the crown pulled off. And then this cheap crown they put back on that was made in their office that day. That should have told me something right there. Um, After that, I just couldn't go back into a dentist office. I was so traumatized. And yeah, it was a bad experience. So I'm praying for a much better experience this time. So be blessed. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, and I prayerfully will be back next week to share with you how it all went. I'll talk to you soon. Love you all. Bye.